These are add-ons to your longevity plan. Eat less sometimes. Fasting is like spring cleaning for your body. And the research that was done over the last 20 to 30 years started in yeast, worms, flies, and small mammals. In any group where you restrict their calories, dietary restriction, there are now known pathways, particularly if you look way over to the left under the yeast, if you restrict the glucose in the diet and the amino acids, which seem to be predominantly from animal foods in the diet. The bottom line, if you look at the lower part of the screen, is there's protective and metabolic activities that increase lifespan in these animal models or other setups that lead to prolonged life and healthier life, and led to a lot of research. What can we reproduce in humans that involves calorie restriction, dietary restriction, fasting, and gain some benefit? So there's a variety of fasting options. The Daniel fast is from the book of Daniel 1 and book of Daniel chapter 10, 21 days of water and pulses. Pulses are legumes. There you have it again. Legumes show up as a healthy choice. If you go to the right, you can eat one day your normal amount and barely eat the next day. That's been studied. In England, it's popular to eat normal 5 days a week and pick 2 days a week to eat 500 to 600 calories. That has actually not been studied that much. It's just a very popular series of books. A lot of the world is doing what's in the lower right, time-restricted feeding. Maybe they're eating 8 hours a day and not eating 16. There actually isn't all that much overwhelming data for that either. It's been studied. And finally, in the lower left, fasting mimicking diet. Reduced calories for 5 days in a row, once a month, for patients who might be obese or have multiple disease risk factors, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, every 3 to 4 months for the others. 1,100 calories the first day, 750 calories the next 4 days before returning to normal eating. Food choices are high in unsaturated fats, pressed from nuts, and very low in sugar and protein, the fasting mimicking diet, or FMD. And that has taken over the science world as the most science-backed approach to dietary restriction, calorie restriction, 5 days out of the 30-day month, 5 days in a row, and you can eat whatever you want healthy for the other days of the month. Fasting mimicking diet. The genius for this research goes to a University of Southern California professor, a friend of mine, Dr. Walter Longo, born in Genoa, Italy, but he's been in LA for about 30 years. He pioneered the research that factors like glucose and amino acids from protein trigger certain pathways. The pathways are known as IGF-1 pathway, mTOR pathway, PKA pathway. If these are overactive, they promote aging. And you can accelerate aging by too much sweeteners, too much protein. That's why in the fasting mimicking diet, he reduces those dramatically for 5 days, and you actually can measure improvements. So if you look at the bottom in green, the fasting mimicking diet supports healthy weight loss. It supports keeping your lean muscular body mass. A lot of diets, if you lose weight, you lose fat stores and protein muscle stores. You don't want to. It might have an impact on cholesterol, fasting blood sugar, rejuvenation, regeneration, and it's real food. So it's a fasting mimicking diet. You get to eat some without all of the downsides of trying to go without food. And this is a commercialized product that Dr. Longo created called Prolon. We've probably had 1,000 people in my clinic do this. Some of them have done it 10 times. Some have done it once. I've done it about 14 times over the last 4 to 5 years. It's a challenging 5 days. You try and stick only to these nut bars, soups, teas, and a drink that helps you avoid hypoglycemia while you're surviving 5 days. I work a full schedule. It's more than enough food not to get that hangry feeling if you were doing a low-calorie juice fast or water fast. Published data, many published articles. This is the first one in 2017 that randomized 100 humans to doing this for 3 months or following their usual diet for 3 months with rather important outcomes identified. It might be ideal for the average American with a variety of cardiovascular conditions, altered metabolic health, like abdominal obesity, abnormal cholesterol, triglycerides, abnormal blood sugar, blood pressures, and inflammation. And it's not a bad choice for many other people either. A term I want you to know, if you don't know, is autophagy. Some people pronounce it autophagy. Auto means self, phagy means eating. It's the body's way of cleaning out damaged cells in order to regenerate newer, healthier cells. Autophagy is the goal of calorie restriction, fasting, dietary restriction, as well as the fasting mimicking diet. It's not an easy test to measure. There isn't a blood test that says I've achieved autophagy, but it is a scientific evaluation, and the knowledge of this won the Nobel Prize in Medicine a few years back. So just finishing up fasting mimicking diet, targeting the aging process itself with fasting mimicking diets can potentially attenuate the risk for age-related cardiac diseases.